everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I am back with another renovation where we are renovating another base game house. This is the Riverside Roost, and this house is known for being kind of a mess. Primarily because the walls are really tall, the furnishing is very sparse, and on the top floor, the two windows that are in the very front of the house are not at the same level. It just looks like there's a lot of mistakes that were made in this house, and I recently did another base game renovation of Rindle Rose, and in the comments of that, y'all asked me if I could renovate this house, which also is 2R words. It says Riverside Roost. So that is exactly what we are doing today. We are only using base game to renovate this, so this will be available to download on the gallery. You won't need any additional packs to get this renovation, so if you'd like to grab it, it is under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You could also find it under the hashtag Gryphi, and as always, that information is in the description down below as well. So I started by deleting all of the landscaping, and I'm reworking the windows. I made the walls shorter, and I am just using the shorter version of the windows because for some reason there isn't the same swatches across them. Like the inside of the window will be brown on one, whereas it's white on the other, which was infuriating. So I ended up just having all of them be the shorter windows, and I picked out some new columns on the front as well as a new fence. We're getting some different roof trim. I changed the color of the roof. And one of the main things I really wanted to do, which I did very early on, was change the pitch of the lower roof. We had a roof that was very pointy on the bottom floor, but then a much gentler incline on the upper roof. And I wanted them to match because I think it looks so bad when the pitches of the roof are completely different. It just looks very strange. So I ended up duplicating that and playing around with this. And I feel like in the end, this house just looks so much more warm and inviting. It was very bland and cold before, and I feel like I was able to make it a lot cozier. But you can let me know what you think of it in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback. And of course, if there are any other base game houses you would like to see me renovate using only the base game, because this has been really fun. This is the second one I've done, and I've just been really enjoying it. So yeah, I ended up actually having a side yard on this one too, just like I did on the other house, which is also in this neighborhood, and having a couple of these sidewalks up to the front of the house. I did keep the two front doors. I sort of block one of them. There's furniture more so on one side of the room, but you don't really need to use both of them anyway, so I thought that was fine. And here I am just getting a sidewalk running to the front from the side exit. And the side yard ends up just having, I think, some monkey bars in it. It ends up being pretty simple, but I did have a couple of kids' rooms here. I was imagining the primary bedroom was on the top floor, and then downstairs I was able to change the one giant bedroom into two smaller bedrooms, and I have a teenager in one and an infant in the other, and I just really liked how it came out. I did want to keep the general layout of this house though, so I didn't do any like wild structural changes other than making it a little bit smaller, which is quite a big change. But I meant like the floor plan. I pretty much kept that the same. The bathrooms are in the same area. The sizing might have changed a little bit. The kitchen is in the same spot. I thought the layout was kind of nice here. I just ended up turning one of the walls into a half wall so that you can see into the living room. And I changed out the counters to be this other base game set. And yeah, we're just moving things around, trying to figure out the best way to lay out this space. I was able to fit a table and chairs in here, which I thought was quite nice. And I'm playing around with the tile backsplash in here now. I really wasn't sure what colors I wanted to go for yet. I kind of wanted to bring in the same colors from outside, which was like browns and yellows. And then I realized I really wanted to use this dated flooring here, which I just think is so pretty. And it just makes me think of older homes because this is the exact like linoleum flooring that was in one of my grandparents' houses. My grandpa on my dad's side had this in his house when I was growing up, and it feels so old and I love it so much. So I was really excited to use that here. I tend to really enjoy building more, I guess, houses that haven't been renovated in a while. I think they are really fun. So this kind of idea is what I wanted to do here. Of course, this is me renovating it and making it look a little bit older, but I think it looks so much cozier and the layout is a bit better. Well, I guess more than a bit. The living room originally was just super empty, and there was this bright red bookshelf, which I didn't even know that bookshelf came in that swatch because I don't know. I don't think I'd ever use that. That could be a challenge though, trying to use that in a build. There's definitely some items and some swatches that I just absolutely never use, so that could be kind of fun trying to figure out how to use those. But anyway, we are figuring out the layout of the living room now. I did end up using these really boxy base game sofas just because I feel like I use the unlock one that only has 3 swatches way too often when I do base game builds because it's so nice. I mean, I even use that one quite a bit when I'm just building any old house. It doesn't even have to be base game. I did add these pillows on the sofa though. These came with a login event that happened like a month or so ago. But if you download this build off the gallery, even if you don't have those items unlocked in your game, they will download with the build. So they still count as base game in that regard. And I just got a plant and a coffee table, a couple of decorations up above the TV. It's very beige in here, but I did try to add some family activities or like kids activities, which you'll see here shortly. But I'm right now just decorating the coffee table. I end up getting a remote and these little birds here. I do end up moving the package someplace else, but I also wanted to add like a book and a bottle, just like things that show that this is a family home, having clutter out and about. I grabbed a guitar as well. And actually a little bit later on when I get to the teenager's bedroom, I was imagining that the teen was really into music and I gave them a guitar, but without thinking, I gave them the Grimm's Ghoulish guitar, which was a event, I think, at some point. I'm not really sure how you got that one, or maybe that's one you just grab off the website. Either way, it flagged it as not being base game, so I do end up swapping that out before I upload this to the gallery, so that's not the guitar that will be in his room later on, but you could add that back if you do have that guitar. Anyway, the entryway was just pretty much complete there, and then I'm just getting a couple of lamps behind the TV. I really just felt like it needed something, or not behind the TV, behind the couch. I just felt like it needed something in that space. It felt very empty. And then I got some more clutter over on this side table here. I grabbed a duck. We have some mail here. I believe, yeah, I got this little building block. There's a thermometer for one of the kids. We have some to-go food, like that maybe just got delivered. There's a bag of stuff there, and I added some plates by the door. And at this point, I decided to reconfigure the stairs. Of course, when base game came out, we didn't have the ability to change the stairs like that. And also, I just feel like the too wide stair is such a waste of space. So I ended up making it smaller. And then this is the corner where I have all the kids' toys. So we have a dollhouse. I end up putting the toy box over on this side, over by the chess table. There is the art like table thing and a Blarfy, and I end up putting a couple of things on the walls as well to make it look like the kids hang out in this space. And that's most of the living space, I'm pretty sure. Just grabbing some doors in the back hallway here to lead you into all of the bedrooms. And then I decided we needed to have this guy here because this is the Riverside Roost. So it felt like we needed a rooster. So adding him on the half wall, I thought it was very important. It's just a bit of fun, and it's not an item I use very often, so it's always nice to include some of that. I did end up getting a coffee pot in the kitchen, and we're just trying to figure out a rug in this back hallway. I was not liking any of the swatches of that rug, so I ended up using this one and scaling it up with the tool mod. And then I got another table in this back hallway. I also considered using this artwork, but I'm pretty sure I changed that in the end just because it felt more modern than the rest of the interior where I have much more traditional fixtures everywhere. So I do end up changing that out right now for these paintings instead, or I guess sketches. I'm not really sure what they're supposed to be, but I do use them quite a bit. They're quite nice. And this is where I am figuring out the color schemes for these 2 bedrooms. We have an infant room here with the really pretty grass wallpaper from base game, and I'm just scaling up this rug. It ends up being very like purple and blue in here, and I thought it was a fun color scheme. It's very much inspired by the rug and the wallpaper, and I tried to include some more things that bring out those colors, like the toy box brings out the green in the rug. I also got a chair over here in the corner. I think that looks pretty realistic for a baby room. Since we don't have changing tables in base game, though, I do make a fake changing table, which is something I did for years before we got infants anyway, so I don't think it's too big of a deal. Basically, I just raise up an ottoman through a dresser, and it looks like you could change a baby there. You can't. It's just a dresser. But if you do have one of the packs that has changing tables, which is Growing Together, or it looks like the new nursery kit has a changing table in there. I'm not really sure how that works, but it looks like there's one there. So you could grab one of those and put that in this room instead if you prefer. But I just thought for decoration purposes for the base game, it would be nice to look like we had a changing table. But this is going to be the teenager's room. I'm scaling up one of these posters here that's all about, music. I really like the bedspread that has guitars on it, and I grabbed this rug that's kind of like paint splatters. It's not one I use that often, but I think it looks really nice for this room. There's the guitar as well that I will be swapping out for a plain like black acoustic guitar instead, but you could imagine it's an acoustic electric because those do exist. I have one in my household. And I also really liked the star mirror up above the bed. I feel like this sim just really aspires to be a famous musician, and I thought that was a bit of fun. I also added some CDs over this stereo here with a lamp up above it, just stacking those things up on the bedside table to make it look a little bit more realistic. And then trying to figure out what else I want to have in this space. Obviously, having a book bag is a good idea as it's a teenager, and I love this swatch of it that has like all of the pins and writing and stuff on it. It just felt correct for this space. I was really excited when they added some more swatches to that backpack. I'm not sure how long ago that was now, but it was something I felt like we needed for such a long time. So it's really cool when the Sims team goes back and updates swatches. I do hope that's something they continue to do because there's so many more things that would be nice to have additional swatches. So maybe someday, but I did get a dresser, and then I have a little corner over here for a chair, and I decided to move the guitar over into this corner because I thought it would be cute if your Sims could sit there and play guitar. Of course, your Sims actually stand up to play guitar, but in real life, I feel like cozying up in the corner and playing some music sounds really nice. So I did that, and then I also just moved around some posters, switched some swatches, and decided having some movie posters that were framed in here would be really nice. So I got this fiery one as well as one with a cow plant, and then I brought up another roof on the outside to make the upstairs look a little bit nicer because I wasn't really liking how the windows were laying with the current roofing, so I felt like that helped a little bit. And then this is the downstairs bathroom, just trying to decorate this. The upstairs one ends up being very similar. I can't remember if I show both of them on camera or not, but I use the same sink and toilets, although upstairs I think might just have a shower, not a tub, although I might be wrong on that. Either way, I'm just getting some towels. We're using the same tiles and linoleum in here that I used in the kitchen. And yeah, it looks like I decorated the other one off camera, and I added some cabinetry up at the top of the steps to look as some like closed storage, maybe like not a pantry because we're upstairs, I guess like a really big linen closet. I liked the idea of that. And then I was also able to fit an office up here because this bedroom was also massive. I felt like I could split that off into another room, and I didn't really want to turn it into another bedroom. You definitely could if you'd prefer to, and have this be a 4-bedroom house, but I decided to have 3 bedrooms and an office, and so I just got a bookcase in here, a desk with a computer, a couple of decorations like this lamp and a plant, a place to sit down, and I actually ended up putting a treadmill in here as well, so it's a bit of a skill building room. So, oh yeah, the easel too, very much a skill building room, all of the things you need in base game. And then this is the primary bedroom, using one of my favorite swatches of this base game bed and bringing in a lot of that green through the curtains. And then I brought in a little bit of like a minty color with the rug. And I believe I'm going to be bringing that through on the walls as well in this room, if I am remembering correctly, because I often try things like that and then I change my mind. So I'm not sure if it actually stayed or not. But either way, I am just grabbing a dresser and a chair and trying to figure out the layout on this side of the room so that I don't have so much empty space, so filling it with a plant was very helpful. It looks like I don't change the wallpaper, but I do get another plant and a little clock over here and a painting on the wall that could be a marriage photo because I think that's what it's supposed to be. Based on the title or the description of this item, I think that's what I read it was going to be. Either way, we are on the balcony now, and I am adding a telescope and a couple of planter boxes, and then we're going to be working on the landscaping for the rest of this build. I got a combination of these yellow flowers throughout the exterior to kind of match the flower boxes that I put on the windows, and grabbing some more trees, some low-lying flowers, and connecting the sidewalks on the front of the property. Just really trying to make everything feel like it's complete. There's no empty spaces, so I'm just trying to fill it all in, have some more natural landscaping. Of course, get some terrain paint here. I also like putting some sort of greenery around a mailbox so it doesn't feel like it's just randomly placed. I guess that's just my experience though. Growing up, when I had a mailbox, we had like flowers growing around it. I haven't had a standstill mailbox like that in many years though, so I'm not really sure. I have like an apartment giant mailbox. So anyway, with that, we are heading on into screenshots. I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. And thank you so much to my YouTube members for your support. If you'd like to join and become a member yourself for a bunch of perks, including having your name on screen now, there is a link in the description as well as a join button below the video. Enjoy the screenshots, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.